Hi guys, Jared here. And what video game series or individual game are you guys crazy about? Like which one game, if you could have one game, would you rebuy like 90 different times? Or what series where you're like, say they released it on one platform, then they slightly tweaked it on another, did you go and buy it again? Let me know. For me, I didn't want to talk about an entire series because I think that would just take up way too much time. So instead, I wanted to focus in on one particular sort of game or time or whatnot, and that is this Resident Evil. I am the biggest sucker for this particular game. You have no clue. This is the original version. It still has all its, I mean, look, this is so funny. Still has all the stuff in there. Look at this tiny little thing. Oh, it's so cute. But yeah, this is the original thing. I even have the inserts still with this stupid thing, see? But yeah, I am a Resident Evil junkie. I absolutely loved this game. This was the game that sort of changed my opinion of, well, should I be a Nintendo fanboy or should I move on to this bold new world? Because you see, back then, I was pretty much a Nintendo fanboy, I would say. I loved Sega, as you guys know, with the Saturn and things like that. But Nintendo just had so many amazing titles. Not only did you have Mario, but you had Zelda, which is one of my favorite series ever. You had Metroid, and you had countless others. With Sega was more the arcade fan in me that I absolutely loved. So it was weird. It was almost like when this came out, it was like it was as if like I was like, oh man, I'm leaving my heritage behind. And that's honestly how it felt when this game came out. I mean, this was huge. In 1996, this really did, to me, this changed everything. This is when I looked at video games, I was like, these aren't for children anymore. And this one survival horror game, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not going to get into it because I want to do separate videos actually looking at these particular games and comparing the different versions and stuff. But I've rebought this particular game, I think, on every single platform pretty much that it's ever been released on. Like, I've used it as an excuse to play it again because it's just so awesome. After that one came out, I don't remember the years or stuff like that. Maybe you guys know. They released this one. This one, if you can see the computer in the background. This one was, the reason why I got this was the one that contained the interactive demo for Resident Evil 2. And this one, I don't remember if it was 97. I think it was. Yeah, it was. Okay. This one came out in 1997 and Resident Evil 2 came out in 1998. So I purchased this for the demo, which is right there. And it rocks, the Casbah. But the game itself, this was the director's cut. Whoops, as the book almost goes flying. And the director's cut, I don't even remember what it has. Here, new camera angles and character graphics, 3 action-packed difficulties. When I show you guys, I think I'm going to do individual like reviews or I don't know. I want to talk about this game. I've been dying to talk about this for the longest time. I also have the Sega Saturn one, which I did not grab because I wanted to keep it for just PlayStation. But just to give you an idea, this is the same console. That's what the point of the video was. I'm not going to show you the GameCube one or the Dreamcast, the games that they re-released. I just want to show you this is the same platform. This is this little cute little guy right there. I rebought the exact same game twice. It is the exact same game. It's got a few other, bells and whistles. But I'm not done. No, I'm not. Then in 1998, obviously, I picked up Resident Evil 2. which I believe this was the original one. Win part in the movie, other great prizes. I'm pretty sure this was the original one because it's yeah, it must be. Anyways, Resident Evil 2. But wait, I'll get to something else. That same year, 1998, I happened to purchase this. They made a greatest hits version of Resident Evil 1 when Resident Evil 2 came out. And why in God's name would I buy it again? Well, I would buy it again because of what it says right there, which was DualShock support. Now, I purchased this at the same time I purchased this. Notice something here? Now supports DualShock. This one doesn't. That's right. Same game, same platform. This doesn't even have any bells and whistles at all. The only difference is that it supports the DualShock controller. Because if you remember, the original PlayStation controller did not have the analog sticks. So, yeah, this, number 3, third time I bought this. And just so you're aware, there is no version, or at least not that I know of, there was no black label version of Resident Evil, the director's cut that has the DualShock. Now, this is the only actual greatest hits game I own. Go figure, right? That it's has to be Resident Evil again. So I actually own this 3 times. Can you believe that? We have the original long box one, which is totally destroyed. I hate these stupid boxes because the glue gets loose and they tear when you move. Anyways, the original long box, and we've got the director's cut, and then we've got the director's cut DualShock edition. Yeah, and I'm gonna go grab the actual controller now and show you guys what the difference was, because I'm sure some of you watching this don't even know that the PlayStation controller originally didn't even have analog sticks. That's right, it did not have analog sticks. And it is right here. This is the dog bone controller for the PlayStation 1. This is my original PlayStation 1 controller. Looks pretty much the same as your standard DualShock controllers, right? I mean, for the most part. However, look at what happens when we turn it around. Bum, bum, bum. Notice how these are small little buttons. They didn't elongate them yet. They would do that with the DualShock. I have been using this son of a bee since 1995, 96, something like that. Crazy, no? The original controller. I know some of you guys are like, yeah, okay, whatever. But keep in mind, I'm doing this mainly for those that maybe came to the PlayStation really late and didn't realize. All this is in essence a Super Nintendo controller with 2 extra buttons and just like that sort of design here so that it rests comfortably in the hands. And it does. I mean, this really does work. I've played all of these Resident Evil. Oh, by the way, never did finish off Resident Evil. And then Resident Evil 3. There we go. Done. I played all of these Resident Evil games with this, except for this one. This is the only one that I had moved on. The only DualShock I have here is this one right here, which has actually gone a little bit yellow because of the sun. This is the controller that came with my PS1. And this is your DualShock. I'm sure you guys, I could have done a whole separate video on this, right? And then when I turn it around, you'll see the difference with the buttons there. So this one I used for Resident Evil 3, and I also used for Resident Evil 1 and 2, the DualShock editions. Now, here's something that's really funny though, okay? I purchased these the same exact time, okay? I purchased these together. It says right on the inside, you can see, now with DualShock support, okay? I brought these home. Put them into the system, grabbed my trusty new controller, and absolutely hated using the analog sticks with the game. That's a classic Jared move right there. So, in essence, I bought them for nothing. But if I recall correctly, yeah, okay. I didn't buy them for nothing. if I recall correctly, they supported the vibration in the rumble tech in this, so I believe that was worth it just for itself. Let's just tell ourselves that. Anyways, yeah, and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which this is the one that Steven is a big baby of because he doesn't like being chased all the time. But this, I actually really enjoyed this. I thought this was a great mix of the survival horror aspect of, you slowly trying to find clues and things like that, plus the action element of you constantly running down, being run down by this guy, and you're always having to try and escape. However, coming off of the unbelievably good Resident Evil 2, I can't help but say that, yeah, I was a little bit like unimpressed, in the sense that it felt much shorter, and it was like we're revisiting the same area again. I'm not sure how I felt, but I did really like the fact that they changed the way the scare element worked. And I think one day we're gonna do. I think if we get a chance, by we I mean me, I'm gonna do a video, or I'd like to do a video showing you guys footage of all the games and just sort of remembering the Resident Evil series. But right now I want to talk about obsessing over one particular game. And keep in mind that this is not my entire collection of Resident Evil games. There's also Gun Survivor on the PlayStation 1, there's all the PlayStation 2 games, the Outbreak games, and so on and so forth. But I've gotten away from the series, like Resident Evil 6. Steven and I, we were live blogging it there. Well, not live blogging, what is it? Live streaming it. And it's sad because we both it got better as we were playing it, but it's not the same anymore. Like, what I loved about this was that sort of Metroid feeling of isolation. You were alone in that mansion. And for those who have never seen this, can sort of, I don't know if you'll be able to make out the writing, but this is it. This is the original Resident Evil. Very few people still have a copy of this, especially complete nowadays. And it's a shame that more people didn't experience this original one back in the day. It's okay. I mean, now you can, you download it and whatever, you can still play it, but it doesn't hold up as well, obviously, because the tank controls and the graphics and the cheesy voice acting and all this. But if you were there back in 1996, that was a groundbreaking game. It really was. So that's my little obsession over the original Resident Evils. What about you? You guys like obsess? Have you rebought the same game over and over and over again because you love it so much, or a series or something like that? By all means, leave a comment below. Let me know, and let's get a little conversation going. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'll see you in the next video.